What's going on, guys? We're not cooking today. We're going to talk about something a little different. We do some online cooking classes through our website, cooktogether.org. We've had a lot of questions on these cooking classes we do. Hey, what are the 3 things I should have in my kitchen? I've narrowed it down to 3 things, and actually it's 4 really, that I can't do without in my kitchen. I'll take these things when we go out of town so I can still cook a meal, take them camping, whatever we're going to do. 4 things are cast iron skillet. Number 1, love it. Number 2 is just a 12-inch saute pan. And number 3 is a good knife. I know I have multiple knives here and we'll go through them. And number 4 is a sharpening steel. We'll go through, it's not a sharpening, it's a honing steel. Wait.
Correct yourself.
Correct myself. It's a honing steel. Let me correct myself. Not a sharpening steel, a honing steel. So let's get started. Number 1, thing I can't live without, I use it every day of the week. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, I always use it, is a cast iron skillet. So this is a 10-inch cast iron skillet. Now, cast iron can be very expensive. You could get ones that are really pricey. You get ones that are on the cheap. I recommend kind of a mid-range. I would spend somewhere between $30 and $50. The lower end ones are gonna take a little bit longer to season. The higher end ones come, it's a smooth finish, they're seasoned. They're all gonna cook great. My cast iron, I have a 12-inch. This sits on my stove all the time. I don't ever wash it. Taking care of it is super simple. If a cast iron, you see it and it's all rusted, it's not nice and black like this, don't worry. A rusted cast iron can be fixed. A great story is this cast iron, actually, I took to Palm Springs on a golf trip with my brother. He actually put it in the barbecue because we were gonna cook some steaks to warm it up, and we burnt all the seasoning off of it. It legit looked like a molten pot. It was just glowing red and smoky, and it was fine. We re-seasoned it when we came back, and it's as good as new as you can tell. Let's go over to the stove, and I'll show you how I clean a dirty cast iron. I cooked tacos the other day in this skillet, and it's still dirty. It was actually yesterday. So what I'll usually do is I'll take coarse salt. I have some kosher salt here. I'll just kind of spread it around in there. I will take a paper towel and I'm just gonna run it around the inside, and you'll see it starts to get all the stuff off there without taking off any of the finish or any of the oil. But look at that, thing is pretty clean now. I'll throw all this in the trash. It soaked up all the flavors. If it's really dirty and there's something on there that I can't get off, they actually sell this great little chain metal device that you just take. I'll put a little bit of water in my pan. I'll throw that in there and I'll just go around and scrape up all the burnt bits or anything that I have in there. It's like $5-10. This thing cleans great. You can throw it in your dishwasher. Do not throw your cast iron in your dishwasher. That's a major no-no. Whoever does that, no good. Number 2, saute pan. So this is a 12-inch. It's an all-clad saute pan. It was rather pricey. My wife bought it for me as a gift years ago. I've probably had it 12 years, maybe even more than that. Wow, it's been a while. You can tell it's actually, I need to clean it. It's a little dirty right now. But I use this for anything that I cook that has tomato in it. There's a reaction with our cast iron and tomato that kind of gives like a weird metally taste. Anything I do with tomato, I'll cook in that. I'll saute things in that. Vegetables, fish is usually in that, just so I don't have to wash my cast iron because fish sometimes leaves a smell. I would say 12 inch is better than 10. So this has kind of a thicker stainless steel than most pans. It's a heavy bottom. That's really what you want. You want to look for a heavy bottom pan, and this is super durable. You could put this in your dishwasher if you want. Price wise, I know all clad can be expensive. This pan, how much did you pay for this 15 years ago?
Probably more than I could afford.
Okay, so probably more than we could afford. We might still be paying for it. I don't know. But I will put a link to a few pans in the description that I would actually buy. You can check them out. There's something that will be in your price range there.
Okay, but what if I want to boil water?
So,
because I don't know.
My wife is a pasta lover. If you want to boil water to cook pasta, I do have some pots that I use as well. It's always good to have maybe an 8 to 10 quart pot. You can look behind me. I have that Dutch oven. That's actually what I use most of the time for boiling water when I'm cooking pasta. I don't boil water for tea or anything like that. We use a kettle. Buy a pot as well. That would be probably number 5. But you can get by with this. I can boil water in this saute pan and cook pasta if I really needed to. It's gonna come out fabulous. It matters that the pasta's cooked right more than anything. Now, knives. You can get knives that range from $60 up to thousands of dollars. I have a lot of knives. I use a lot of knives. There's a knife for everything. It's kind of like there's a tool for everything. If I am gonna say I need one knife in my kitchen, I would just say, make it a knife that you love. Make it a knife that you can afford. Make it a knife that feels good in your hand. I have several. So this first one, I've actually had since high school. It's got a wood handle. It's old. I can't can't even read who makes it anymore. I sharpen it often, so the edge is still really sharp. This actually is in my camping box now, so I take this with me whenever we go camping. It's a stainless steel knife. My home economics teacher actually gave it to me when I was in high school. It's great. It has some amazing memories. Number 2 is this Japanese knife that I have. I don't remember who made it. It's Damascus steel. It's stacked steel, so it's really thin. They make it thin, so it's good for delicate cuts. I don't know if you can see how thin it is there. The blade, again, super sharp. I sharpen them myself. This was a little pricey. It was a few $100s. Great knife. I love it. I actually use that one a lot. We have one more, which is a Shun, which is a commercially made knife. I think this cost me $80 at the knife shop. It works great. It's composite steel, so it has a few layers to it. Still a little thin. It goes fat to thin on the blade, so it's a little thicker at the top, a little thinner at the bottom. Great control. More than anything, what I'm looking for is something that just feels good in my hand, right? I want it to feel good when I'm cutting. I want to feel like I have control. That's what I'm looking for.
So if somebody doesn't have a knife shop around them,
I will put some knives in the description below. You can check them out. I'll put a few different price ranges.
if you go like Williams Sonoma, will they let you touch the
yes.
knives?
So you can go into Williams Sonoma. You can go into one of the home stores, try a knife, ask them to take it out of the case. They'll gladly take it out so you can hold it. They might not let you cut with it, but you could at least hold it and see how it feels in your hand to see if it's too heavy, it's too light. I bought my wife a knife years ago because she always complained that the knives that I had were too heavy for her. Her knife is just a lot lighter, so she loves working with it. She hated cutting things with my knife. Number 4, or number 5 if we're counting the pot. I don't know. Let's just say top 5. Is a honing steel. I said a sharpening steel earlier. It's a honing steel. This is actually, it's a steel that you use to re-edge your knife. So as you're cutting, you're dulling the blade. So the blade's shaped down like this. You're dulling it every time you're cutting on a cutting board. So what you do with this is you take your knife, you hold it on an angle, usually 35 to 40 degrees, and you just run your knife back and forth to hone the blade again. So it's just gonna make that blade come to a point again. It's gonna take the metal that you've dulled down and create a fine point so that your knife stays nice and sharp. This is also something that I say everybody should have. It can get a little dicey while you're running it down, and it just has this little lip to catch it. You don't want to hit the lip, so you could nick your finger. You could also do it this way.
Okay,
right?
that's better.
Yeah, so you could run it up and down this way if you want. Same difference. You're doing the same thing. You're just honing the steel on this.
How many times do you run it through the thing?
So, that's a great question.
How many times do you run it through the honer?
How many times do you run it through the honer? I don't think that's a word, but I will say I basically will run it a few times, 5, and then I'll check the blade. I'll just take my hand and run it on there and see, okay, what does it feel like? Does it feel like it's sharp again? Does it feel like the edge is back? And that's actually pretty sharp. I'd be good at that. Maybe 3 to 5 times if you wanted a number, because I know my wife loves working with numbers. Recap. 4 things, 5 if we're counting that Dutch oven behind me. 4 things that have to be in our kitchen. Cast iron skillet, saute pan, and a knife of some sorts. And you don't need to break the bank and go into debt, thousands and thousands of dollars for this. I mean, if you're starting out and you're wanting to cook, these can be affordable. You don't need to break the bank. Great place to find cast iron, yard sales, thrift stores. We'll put some links below to some of the things that I recommend, and we'll keep the price points kind of varied, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep the price points varied, so we'll go from high to low, or not even low, we'll go to like good low, not like rock bottom low. Like we don't want something that's not gonna be good, that you're gonna have to replace. I want you to be able to buy a cast iron skillet and have it for the rest of your life. I've had mine for 15 years plus, and they're still kicking. Same thing with the saute pan and my knives. I've had them for years. Take care of your things more than anything. Don't just throw them around. Put your knives back into the sleeves that you buy and put them in the drawer. They'll last you forever. You'll be able to create memories and great meals around your table, which is what we all want to do. I know this was something a little different today. It wasn't making a meal, it wasn't creating something, but these are questions that people have that I get DM'd or I get through our website or the classes that we host. I want to just take a minute and go through some things that I love. If you guys have more questions or you want to know more about the things that we're talking about, go to my Instagram, put a comment in this YouTube video, or you can go to our other Instagram, which is @CookToGather, or go check out the website, cooktogather.org, and check out our cooking classes that we're doing online, through Zoom. Love to have you join and be a part of one. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next week. So, 3, 2, 1, cut the slate, check the gate.